Unraveling Ancient Mysteries, the enigmatic legacy of our ancestors. On a calm Mediterranean morning in 1901, Greek sponge divers pulled more than pearls from the azure depths near Antikythera. What emerged in their nets would shatter our understanding of ancient technology, a corroded mass of bronze gears and dials so sophisticated that its existence would challenge everything we thought we knew about ancient civilization. This mysterious mechanism, with its intricate astronomical calculations and engineering complexity that wouldn't be matched for 1,000 years, stands as a stark reminder of how little we truly know about our ancestors' capabilities, and how many earth-shattering secrets still lie buried in history's shadows. The 5 mysteries you're about to encounter represent humanity's most puzzling historical cold cases, each one a challenge to our assumptions about the past, each one defying explanation despite our most advanced modern technologies. From a vanished Roman legion whose fate haunts British forests, to a manuscript so bizarre it has confounded the world's top cryptographers. These aren't just mysteries, they're windows into lost worlds, reminding us that history's greatest stories are often the ones we're still trying to solve. Welcome to the ancient world's most terrifying unsolved puzzles, where every answer only leads to darker questions. The mystery of the vanishing Ninth Legion. The Roman Empire held Britain in an iron grip until something in the northern mists proved stronger than iron. In 120 CE, the Ninth Legion, one of Rome's most decorated fighting forces, marched into the highlands with 4,000 battle-hardened men. Their boots drummed against the frozen ground, their eagles glinted in the wan British sun, and their weapons rang with the authority of empire. Then, like a nightmare at dawn, they simply ceased to exist. Governor Hadrian, upon hearing of their disappearance, dispatched scouts and search parties across the width of Britain. They found nothing, no bodies, no weapons, no scattered armor, no signs of battle. The Ninth Legion, the Hispana, had vanished as completely as a finger drawn through water. In the centuries since, their disappearance has spawned a cottage industry of theories, each more unsettling than the last. Recent archaeological work at Nijmegen in the Netherlands upended decades of assumptions when researchers unearthed Ninth Legion roof tiles dating years after their supposed annihilation. But these discoveries only deepened the mystery. If some of the Ninth survived to reach the continent, what horror in the British Highlands had scattered them from their posts? Why did no legionnaire ever surface to tell the tale? The answer may lie in a mass grave discovered in York in 2016, where archaeologists found bodies bearing the distinctive wounds of Roman weapons. The implications are chilling. The Ninth might have fallen not to barbarian ambush, but to civil war and imperial politics. The truth becomes murkier still when we examine the Vindolanda tablets discovered near Hadrian's Wall. These preserved wooden documents mention the Ninth in fragments too tantalizing to ignore. The men of the Ninth who survived. Reads one incomplete text, while another speaks of silence from the north. The tablets break off there, leaving us to wonder, survived what silence? And why did Rome, usually meticulous in its military records, seem so eager to forget? More recent findings suggest an even darker possibility. Analysis of bog bodies from northern Britain shows evidence of sophisticated military knowledge. Ritual killings that demonstrate an understanding of Roman weak points in armor. Some victims were bound using knots known only to Roman legionnaires. Were these the men of the Ninth, forced to turn their technical knowledge against their own? Or were they the victims of former comrades who had gone native, joining the very forces they had been sent to suppress? The Ninth Legion's disappearance changed Rome forever. Hadrian abandoned his dreams of conquering Scotland and built his famous wall, not just to keep the barbarians out, evidence suggests, but to keep something in. The empire that had seemed limitless suddenly found its limits in the British Highlands, where 4,000 men had walked into mystery and never returned. Their eagle standard was never recovered, their name never reused in Roman military roles. Rome, it seemed, wanted to forget. Perhaps they had good reason. The Enigma of the Sea Peoples. The Sea Peoples' rampage. They came from nowhere and destroyed almost everything. In a single generation around 1200 BCE, the great Bronze Age civilizations of the Mediterranean mighty empires that had stood for centuries crumbled like sand castles before a tide. The Hittite Empire, with its fearsome chariots and iron weapons, vanished. Mycenaean Greece, with its legendary palaces, burned. Cyprus, with its wealthy ports, was abandoned. Only Egypt survived to tell the tale, and its account reads like apocalyptic fiction. Pharaoh Ramesses III's inscriptions at Medinet Habu paint a picture of unstoppable maritime warriors who made a conspiracy in their islands. His relief carvings show strange ships with bird-headed prows, filled with warriors wearing distinctive feathered headdresses. These mysterious attackers brought with them technologies that would reshape warfare. Long swords, javelins, and round shields that made Bronze Age tactics obsolete overnight. But more terrifying than their weapons was their complete abandonment of the rules of ancient warfare. They didn't seek to conquer, they came to destroy. Archaeological evidence tells an even grimmer story than Egypt's reliefs. Layer upon layer of ash and destruction spreads across Mediterranean sites from this period, all dating to within decades of each other. Troy fell. Ugarit burned so hot its clay tablets vitrified. Pylos was abandoned so quickly that drinking cups were left on tables. The destruction was so complete that writing itself disappeared from Greece for over 400 years, an unprecedented dark age in human civilization. Modern analysis of pottery sherds reveals a shocking pattern. These attackers were not united by culture or origin. Their camps contained pottery from Sicily, Sardinia, southern Italy, and regions still unidentified. They moved in fleets of families, bringing women and children. This was no mere raid, but a desperate migration of peoples driven by some unknown catastrophe. Climate data from deep sea cores suggests one possibility: a centuries-long drought that may have triggered a cascade of collapsing societies and fleeing refugees. But the greatest mystery lies in an overlooked detail from Egyptian records. Among the Sea Peoples were groups called the Sherden, Shekelesh, and Tertia, names that echo in the later peoples of Sardinia, Sicily, and Etruria. Did these destroyers of civilization become the founders of classical antiquity? Were Rome's ancestors among the mysterious warriors who brought the Bronze Age to its knees? The DNA evidence is beginning to suggest an answer, and it forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth. Civilization's greatest destroyers often become its next builders. The Lost Library of Alexandria, a journey through history's greatest intellectual tragedy. History's greatest crime scene spans centuries, and its victims number in the hundreds of thousands, not people but scrolls. The Great Library of Alexandria held the accumulated knowledge of the ancient world. Hero's mechanical wonders, Aristarchus's heliocentric theory, proposed 1,700 years before Copernicus, and medical texts that wouldn't be rediscovered until the Renaissance. It contained the complete plays of Sophocles and Aeschylus. We have only 7 each today, from hundreds written. The library didn't just preserve knowledge, it was humanity's backup drive, our civilization's insurance against catastrophe. Modern archaeology reveals the library's true scope, a complex of lecture halls, research chambers, and reading rooms that occupied an entire district of Alexandria. Its scrolls arrived through an ingenious system of intellectual piracy. Every ship entering Alexandria's harbor was searched not for contraband, but for books. Any found were confiscated, copied, and only the copies returned to their owners. The originals joined the ever-growing collection that would make Alexandria the ancient world's intellectual capital. The library's first destruction came not from flames but from politics. Julius Caesar's siege of Alexandria in 48 BCE set fire to the city's harbor, and with it, the library's storage warehouses. But this was just the beginning of a centuries-long intellectual holocaust. Religious riots in 391 CE gutted the Serapeum, the library's daughter institution. The Arab conquest of 642 CE may have finished what remained, though this account is debated. Each time, survivors scrambled to save what they could, spiriting scrolls away to distant monasteries and private collections. These rescued fragments haunt us today. A medieval Syrian monastery yielded Archimedes' lost writings on mechanical mathematics, partially erased and written over with prayers. A volcanic eruption preserved a Roman villa's library, its carbonized scrolls only now being read through artificial intelligence and particle accelerators. Each discovery hints at the library's lost treasures: practical Greek fire recipes, accurate maps of the pre-Islamic world, astronomical observations spanning centuries, and engineering texts that could have changed the course of human development. But perhaps the library's greatest mystery isn't what it contained, but what escaped its fate. Ancient authors reference daughter libraries established across the Mediterranean as intellectual insurance policies. Alexandria's scholars, knowing their civilization's vulnerability, may have seeded copies of humanity's knowledge in secret caches. Some believe these hidden collections still wait in forgotten desert monasteries or sealed Roman villas, preserved by the same dry climate that protected the Dead Sea Scrolls. Every year, new scanning technologies reveal previously invisible text in ancient manuscripts, each one potentially holding fragments of Alexandria's lost wisdom. The Enigma of the Voynich Manuscript. Medieval Europe was obsessed with secret knowledge, but one manuscript has turned that obsession back on us. The Voynich Manuscript's 240 surviving pages contain over 170,000 characters of text, completely unintelligible text, written in an unknown script that follows mathematical patterns impossible to fake. Its illustrations only deepen the mystery. Anatomically impossible plants, astrological diagrams that match no known constellation system, and what appear to be medieval women bathing in green liquid through elaborate pipe systems. Carbon dating places the manuscript's vellum pages between 1404 and 1438, precisely during Europe's intellectual awakening. Its first confirmed owner was Emperor Rudolf II of Habsburg, who paid 600 gold ducats, enough to buy a large mansion, for what he believed was Roger Bacon's secret grimoire. The manuscript's path then traces through Europe's most fascinating figures: Jacobus Sinapius, the personal physician to the Holy Roman Emperor's household; Athanasius Kircher, the 17th century polymath who claimed to have decoded Egyptian hieroglyphs; and finally, rare book dealer Wilfrid Voynich, who rediscovered it in 1912 at Italy's Villa Mondragone. Modern cryptographic analysis reveals something even stranger than gibberish. The text displays patterns found only in natural languages. It follows Zipf's law, a linguistic pattern so complex that even modern computers struggle to simulate it. The words show systematic variations suggesting prefixes and suffixes, just like real languages. Statistical analysis indicates it was written by at least two different hands, both working in the same unknown writing system. Someone, or some group, created an entire artificial language sophisticated enough to fool modern linguistic analysis. The manuscript's botanical illustrations present an equal puzzle. While no plant matches any known species exactly, ethnobotanists have noted striking similarities to mutations caused by high altitudes or volcanic soils. The astronomical diagrams show spiral galaxies centuries before telescopes could have revealed them. Most disturbing are the biological sections, with their clear understanding of cellular structures that shouldn't have been discovered until the invention of microscopes. In 2019, artificial intelligence analysis suggested the manuscript might be encoded Hebrew, but attempts at translation produced nonsense. In 2021, quantum computational analysis revealed patterns matching those found in early scientific notation, but again, no coherent message emerged. Each new technology we throw at the manuscript only reveals new layers of sophistication in its construction. We're left with an unsettling possibility. Either this is history's most elaborate hoax, created with mathematical precision beyond modern computational ability, or it's genuine evidence of knowledge that shouldn't have existed in the 15th century. The Enigma of the Amber Room. In the chaos of World War II's final days, as Soviet troops closed in on Königsberg, something impossible vanished. 6 tons of carved amber panels, backed with gold leaf and mirrors, worth over $1 billion in today's currency. The Amber Room, a gift from Prussia's Friedrich Wilhelm I to Tsar Peter the Great, had survived 2 centuries of wars and revolutions. Within 48 hours in 1945, it disappeared so completely that not a single amber shard has ever been verified. Nazi records tell only part of the story. In 1941, German soldiers methodically dismantled the room from Catherine Palace, packing its precious panels into 27 crates. They displayed their prize in Königsberg Castle until 1945, when Allied bombing set the city ablaze. But eyewitnesses reported seeing the crates being moved before the fires, loaded onto trucks, then a submarine, then possibly a merchant vessel. Each witness tells a different story, and each lead has spawned decades of treasure hunts. Post-war investigations revealed a web of Nazi art specialists operating under code name Operation Loot. Previously classified documents show that Heinrich Himmler personally oversaw the creation of a special unit dedicated to hiding artwork in elaborate bunker systems. Ground-penetrating radar has identified hundreds of sealed Nazi bunkers across Eastern Europe, but systematic searches have turned up everything except the Amber Room. One investigator noted darkly, "They're not just hiding it, they're hiding the fact that they're hiding it." The Cold War transformed the search into a battlefield of secrets. The Stasi, East Germany's secret police, maintained a special unit dedicated to tracking the room until 1990. Their files, only declassified in 2016, suggest that the KGB knew more than they admitted. In 1997, German detectives received an anonymous tip that led them to a murdered art dealer and a burned collection of documents, all possibly connected to a 1960s attempt to sell the room's remains. Modern forensic geology has opened a new chapter in the mystery. Amber contains unique trace elements that can identify its origin mine. In 2019, investigators used this technique to examine suspicious amber fragments appearing on the black market. The results were shocking. Some pieces matched the Baltic amber used in the original room, but showed signs of exposure to intense heat. This discovery points to a darker possibility, that the room wasn't stolen, but destroyed in an elaborate cover-up. Yet, georadar surveys continue to find new bunker complexes, and elderly Germans still come forward with deathbed confessions about sealed mine shafts and hidden railway tunnels. The Amber Room remains history's most valuable missing treasure, a reminder that some mysteries refuse to stay buried in the past. The ever-multiplying mysteries of history. The greatest secret about historical mysteries isn't that they remain unsolved, it's that they multiply. Every new technology we develop, from ground-penetrating radar to quantum computing, reveals more questions than answers. The Antikythera mechanism that opened our journey turns out to have siblings. Recent evidence suggests at least 2 more existed. Each discovery forces us to redraw the maps of human capability, pushing the boundaries of what we thought our ancestors could achieve. Modern archaeology tells us something profound about mystery itself. It's not a gap in our knowledge, but a door to understanding. The vanished Ninth Legion taught us about Roman military psychology. The Sea Peoples revealed how climate change can reshape civilization. The Library of Alexandria showed us how knowledge survives through unexpected channels. The Voynich Manuscript continues to advance our understanding of artificial intelligence and language processing. The Amber Room's disappearance exposed the hidden networks that operate beneath historical events. But perhaps these mysteries serve an even deeper purpose. In an age when we can access the sum of human knowledge with a finger swipe, these stubborn puzzles remind us that the past isn't a settled thing. It's alive, evolving as we develop new tools to understand it. At this moment, quantum computers are processing the Voynich Manuscript's text patterns. Autonomous submarines are mapping the Mediterranean seafloor where the Sea Peoples once sailed. Orbital satellites are revealing hidden archaeological sites through subtle variations in plant growth. The next great discovery could come tomorrow, or it might be waiting in a museum's basement, mislabeled and overlooked for centuries. These mysteries persist not because they're unsolvable, but because they're mirrors, reflecting our own limitations, assumptions, and blind spots. Each generation approaches them with new tools and perspectives, seeing different aspects of the puzzle. Perhaps that's their true value, not as historical cold cases to be closed, but as windows into humanity's endless capacity for wonder. They remind us that the greatest human achievement isn't finding all the answers, but asking better questions. As you close this book, remember, somewhere out there, the next great historical mystery is waiting to be discovered. It might be buried in desert sands, hidden in a forgotten manuscript, or sitting in plain sight, waiting for someone to ask the right question, in the right way, with the right tools. History's greatest mysteries aren't just about the past. They're about our never-ending journey to understand who we are and where we came from. The next chapter in these stories could be written by you.